Bookkeepers already know the numbers. Transitioning into tax services allows you to offer more value, earn more per client, and position your firm as a one-stop shop. This guide will give you really a checklist and any SOPs that you need for your staff. Okay. Number one, assess your current skills and your staff skills. This is really important. Why? Because at this point, you really want to assess your current skills and be able to assess your staff skills so that you can assume more responsibility with your clients. Number two, choose your first tax service. Will you be providing services for individuals like 1040 tax returns? Will you be doing small business tax returns like Schedule Cs? Or will you be planning and doing tax planning with your clients or strategizing throughout the year? Right now is a good time to do tax planning. Okay. Let's say number three would get, make sure that you have your license or your credentials, your AFSP, which is your tax preparation or your annual filing service provider. So that's where you want to make sure that you're aligning with the licenses you need to provide the services. And if you're going to be filing it electronically, you will need your ERO number as well with the IRS. You can always go onto the irs.gov and be able to get the requirements that you need to be able to file those licenses there as well. The next thing would be to train your staff on tax software, plus the compliance basics, right? If you need to collect all of the documentation for your clients, are you going to be using some kind of organizer to upload all of their documents? Do you have a specific CRM system that you use? We use TaxDome on our firm. On a couple of our different firms, we use TaxDome. That is our preference for CRM because we're able to automate emails. We're able to, have all of our client information, use it as a portal, have them upload their documents, things like that. Taxes have definitely evolved since, 20 years ago. They're completely different where you can now upload documents to a CRM, and it's just exciting, the different changes that have happened. Of course, all of the different tax laws that are changing now will also, make a huge impact on our side as well. So next thing would be create service packages that combine bookkeeping plus taxes. That's another way as well to increase your income with your current clients. And then, of course, you want to be able to communicate the changes, to your existing clients and being able to upsell them. I think that's a huge opportunity for you is to upsell your current clients that, instead of you having to find new clients, that's always a big, huge plus. And at the end of the day, you don't just want to be, like I said, a bookkeeper. You also want to be able to transition into a tax professional. Why? Because being a bookkeeper, it's funny that I'm just thinking about it right now. I was actually at a masseuse and she was telling me that she, was going into bookkeeping and she wanted to start a business in bookkeeping, which is amazing, which is great, right? And here's the interesting part is that I was telling her that, sometimes you need to know a little bit about taxes to be able to complete your bookkeeping. And she was like dumbfounded. She was like, what do you mean? And I said, well, here's the difference, right? When you have an LLC, when a client has an LLC, the balance sheet might not be a big deal at all, right? They might not need it because they have a Schedule C tax return and they're going to be filing their taxes with self-employment taxes underneath or inside of their tax return, which is the 1040. But at the end of the day, if the client is an S corporation, a corporation, or a partnership tax return, the bookkeeping needs to be accurate to their entity, right? Because as an S corporation, you have to have shareholder contribution, you have to have shareholder distribution. And not only that, but you also have to have officer compensation. So there's quite a few different accounts that you need in the chart of accounts to make sure you're keeping track of the balance sheet. You also have your fixed assets, you have your current liabilities, you have your long-term liabilities. I mean, there's so many areas that you need to focus on when you're a bookkeeper. There are so many areas that, you can learn from, from doing cleanups, from doing diagnostic reviews. I mean, there's so many things we can go into. But I will make sure to go into those details every time we're talking about that specific item. So in regards to, from being a bookkeeper to a tax professional, again, it's really important that as a bookkeeper, you need to know the different entities in taxes. And like I said, the S corporation, you have your partnership tax return, and you have your corporation. Of course, there's nonprofits if you're focused in that area, but I would say focus on one if possible. If you want to learn to, your basics, I would say start with the 1040, and then from there go to your Schedule C's, and which is your small business tax returns, and that is basically all of your 1099 clients that have a miscellaneous form, a 1099. Maybe they're Uber drivers, maybe they drive for Lyft, maybe they do DoorDash. Any of those clients will also be able to help you do all of the basics, and you can literally charge between $300 to $500 a tax return, depending on where you are in the country or in the state, in the United States, depending on what state you're in. So for us, I'm in Arizona, our average is $350 to a Schedule C can go all the way up to $850, depending on what we're looking at, right? I have clients that have multiple rental properties. I have clients that have, multiple depreciation schedules. So it really just depends at what you're looking at. So bookkeeping can be a little more complex than most people can imagine, but it is a big part of the tax area. And I would say that you as a bookkeeper will benefit from getting to know taxes and your basics and starting from there, so that you know how it's so important to make sure that those books are clean for your client, so that when they file their tax return, they are ready to go. Well, my friends, I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. Make sure that you leave us a comment right below this video, and I will be talking to you soon. Have a great one. Bye.